Oh my goodness, the stream is live. Hello, party people. It's us, your friends, the Ben and Skin Show, and this is the rebirth of After Dark. Look at Big Ben. Look at him, dude. You have it's like my plums. It's a bluish hue. Look at you, how radiant you are
I
there,
know.
man.
We kind of have a bluish hue in my plums, and you're like you have the red fires of hell.
Yeah, I got a Satan thing going on. You can't tell. So behind the scenes, everybody, our buddy Jason Ferrantello, we call him Theory, is kind of producing all this. Theory, I don't even know if you're capable of doing this, but make me the full screen right now. I want everybody to see. That's Ben, dude. If you could make me the full screen, hey, dude, more me. Let's make it about me. Okay. Right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We're
There you go.
experimenting. Okay, good. That's Eddie from Iron Maiden. And so we have a real pits of hell thing going on. And then Ben is angelic like Luke Skywalker, and he has a lightsaber back there in the background behind him. How wonderful is that?
Yes, yes, dude. This is amazing. I've always wanted to do something like this. This was the announcement, and we'll give you layers to that announcement, other aspects of it. But I've always wanted to have a home studio, and we had a lot of people help us with this. Thank you to Joshua, Larry, Jason Ferrantello, Armando. A lot of people help with this. But man, I'm just so excited to have these home studios with nice cameras to where we can pump out YouTube content, because we've had a YouTube account for a long time, but it sometimes is dormant. But we're gonna lean in on that bitch.
Yeah, dude, pumping out YouTube comment is like that one time that you said you liked The Empire Strike Back.
That's exactly right. Sometimes I realize this now. Like, I didn't realize I had a lobotomy laugh until Danny pointed it out.
Me neither. I've
I
worked with you forever, and I never knew that.
I didn't realize that sometimes I don't say the S, like Star War.
Yeah, that's great. Star Wars was great.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cather's issue. What was it? Sometimes what didn't come out so great? His
Yeah. What was
horrors.
that?
I can't
He didn't
remember.
have tonsils or
His
something.
NGs don't come correct.
Oh,
That's
look,
great.
there's
NGs.
Theory.
His NGs, Jason.
Jason will just pop in at any time. Before we get into, do you have your cocktail already?
Okay, so I am rolling with some Lux Ice, right? Crystal clear, slow melting ice sphere.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see how clear that is.
Is that freezing your hand?
It froze my hand, but when I was in the freezer grabbing that, I saw some of the old ones that I used to try to make. Here's things. This is why we hype this up. Look at that.
It's terrible.
It's not a full circle. It's all cloudy. It smells like chicken nuggets. That's not what we're working with here. And so I've recently got back into old fashions. There you go. Recently got back into old fashions. And so I wanted to make an old fashioned tonight for this with a Lux Ice crystal clear, slow melting sphere. And I wanted to try it with our new Rollertown High Rye bourbon.
Oh,
Okay.
man. That is so good, dude. I'm really, really into that spirit. I think it's great.
But I was like, man, I'm kind of rusty in terms of making old fashioned. So I stopped by the Nook, one of my favorite bars, and I called the bartender, Dalton. I was like, dude, I want to make some old fashions tonight. Can I just buy? I know I can't get alcohol to go, and I've got the alcohol covered. Can I get the goods, like the ingredients, the guts of an old fashioned? Can I just come buy those? And so that's what I did. And so it's already ready to roll.
Okay.
So I poured in there. I'm supposed to put 2 ounces of this in there, and I'm just going to have to eyeball it.
Nice. That's hot.
What are you sipping on?
I'm going to show you in a second. You get going. Man, you know what? There's already so many people in this thing that I can't. Over on the side, we have a comment section. I cannot keep up with that shit. I did see. Oh my God, man, that looks fantastic. That looked like I don't know what was in there, but it looked like a black Pac-Man.
I've got one of those fancy cherries in there.
Nice.
And Dalton told me, I was like, dude, are you going to give me like the orange peel? And he was like, man, if you're going with rye, you need a lemon peel. So I got the lemon peel action in there, and I had to sample one at the Nook before I came home, and I almost got too lit to do this.
Okay, so I haven't been. I haven't had a single sip of alcohol today. You've been
Wow.
getting tanked already.
Yeah, I was so excited. I literally am so excited about this that
You had to get drunk.
I had to get drunk. I wanted to get the cocktail right, and so I had to do a lot of sampling to get there. But this is amazing. This is
Okay, let me
delicious.
show you what I'm going to do, and then we'll get back to iron balls and what that is. So sometimes I love the brown. You know that I'm a whiskey guy. I love beer. You know that. But lately I've been like, all right, I want to go. I want to get some clear going, dude. And so I went to Total Wine and More on the way home, and I was like, "Hey, man, I don't know much about tequila. It's a hole in my game. I'm not knowledgeable." And so I started talking to a guy named Brett over there at the Total Wine and More in Plano.
Is that the Don Roberto?
It is. It's the 1924 Don Roberto.
Oh, that was
So
a good year.
I'm going to open that hoe for you right now. Hey, when people send me text messages, do you hear it go bing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, there's one of our friends is saying, "Hey, put on your prescription sunglasses," which I think I told you earlier, Ben. My wife has it because she had to go fetch that thing.
Uh-huh.
All right, so she has not given it back to me. So this is what we're going with. Let me put that right there. Look at that. We're gonna sip that hoe.
Okay.
Right.
I see you, dude.
And a lot of people are like, "Hey, man, you're supposed to drink that neat." But in talking to Brett over there at Total Wine and More, he's like, "Dude, those flavors that are in that, it's going to open up, once it hits your mouth anyways. So feel free to chill that thing." So it was a very useful trip to Total Wine and More because I got my Lux Ice Cube. We've talked about or Ice Sphere, I should say. And we've talked about this on the show, but there's a little cooler at the checkout where you just grab a 6-pack and boogie. It's incredible.
Yes.
Hey,
very nice.
When you said Dalton at the Nook, isn't Dalton like a character from Roadhouse?
He had to have been named after Dalton from Roadhouse. And I think he could do a throat rip too.
Okay. Hey, dude, do this. I'm going to try to I forgot to pull the plastic off of this thing. So I'm going to do that. Talk to Jason in the meantime. Jason, pop on and talk to Ben.
Okay. There he is. Look at that. Jason, DJ Theory, Jason Parentello. I'm so unbelievably excited about this. We have a whole menu of things we're going to do, things we want to talk about. And this is going to be Prison Rules. I think the best incarnations of our show that we've ever had. I think the non-compete podcast, a lot of people feel like that's maybe the best incarnation of the Ben and Skin show there's ever been.
I still listen to it every day.
Because you can cuss, right? Because we could do whatever we want. It's Prison Rules.
Fuck yeah.
And that's what this is going to be. And so we're going to figure out the time and the cadence of all this. But essentially, what Skin and I have done is we have launched an LLC. We opened and started an LLC. It's called Iron Balls Productions. Iron Balls Productions. And there's a lot of different reasons we can talk about that. But did you want Jason to weigh in on that?
No, I'd like it if he went away now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
He's a genius, but he's more of a behind the scenes genius.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to have my first sip, Ben.
All right. Cheers. Cheers. No, toast this bitch.
A toast to the great Benny Sana. We're getting it. Look at that. You like my Mavs cup? My Mavs highball?
Hell yeah.
We are cocktailing so hard with our Lux Ice Sphere. And I am going with the Don Roberto 1924. God, that is good, dude.
It was a good year, 24. I know that's
that's a big year in Yellowstone lore, right?
The agave was super nectarous.
Oh, so
that
agave.
Year. Okay,
wait,
so
hold on. Do we need to tease because we are talking Costner later?
Yeah, here's the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about iron balls, why we're doing it, what it means, what we're going to be doing, what the cadence is, what the time is, all those sorts of things. We'll get into cocktailing a little bit, probably. Maybe this accounts for that. We will talk about the Mavs offseason. We'll get into Kevin Costner. We'll talk about 3 movies that hold up. We'll just do basically whatever we want to do, but we'll constantly be checking your comments. And I think on this, because KT did this when he did it, I think we have the ability to interject people into the show if we choose to.
Okay, so here's the thing. I not only don't know how to do that, I can already tell I am not going to be focused on any of the comments. Because Ben, what's going to happen is if I start looking at the comments, I'm going to have a huge owl situation.
Right, because while you're talking, you're reading, you're like,
Right. So I'm like
huge,
suddenly going,
huge
so
chow.
skin, bitter, liquor, face,
Yes.
Hackman,
Yes.
hot
I do. I
tub.
want to say this about our journey.
Yeah.
It's been weird, man. But I think we are a unique radio show in that we're not a host from, New York and a host from LA that have been thrown together or anything like that.
You grew up in DC and moved down here late and we're a big Redskins fan.
we are, we've grown up together. We've been friends since we were 12 and Skin is old now.
Yeah.
Look how old he is. I'm a young
Yeah,
man.
true.
But no, we're old men now, and we grew up together, so we've been friends since we were 12, and we've bounced around. We've worked at a million different places. We've talked about that, but doing the YouTube thing it's kind of liberating. It's like the freedom to do whatever you want to do, cuss if you want to, but it's all about this community that we've built and cultivated over the years, and it's all about these people that are here now, commenting, watching this, interacting with us. And I think that people are going to enjoy this very much.
Yeah, dude, I love this format. I love those after darks that we did during the pandemic. And, eventually we will have nights where KT is going to be joining us, or Christina, or both, or special guests. We're going to do this more frequently, but I think now is probably a good time, Ben, to mention why we're doing Iron Balls, why we're doing Iron Balls Productions. We're going to do a lot of different stuff with this. It's basically going to be the stuff that we're not doing on 97.1 The Eagle, right? Like that has its place. We're going to be there every day doing our show from 3 to 6 and having fun. And I hope people like that. But this is a totally different kind of freedom. Again, Ben won't be cussing because he's always worried that Pete Briscoe is watching. Isn't that the name of that fucking minister that you always wanted to fucking protect? Despite the fact that he had some real shady shit going
No,
on.
you're thinking, no, don't put that on him, Ricky
He's
Bobby.
a good guy. I'm being a dick.
No, so no, Pete Briscoe is one of my favorite pastors. Can you rank your favorite pastors?
Why did he leave the cloth? You said he had a crisis of faith. What was that?
No, he did not. He's the one who grew up with Donnie Nelson. They were friends growing up. And so and he was over at a church kind of near Prestwood Baptist Church in Plano. I think it's called Preston Trail. I can't remember what it's called, but
that's like a golf course, homie.
My wife and I were on a church search, so to speak, and we were trying to find the right church. And I really liked him. My family, we didn't, we grew up Christian, but we didn't like study the Bible. Like I couldn't recite the Bible. And I went to a Catholic wedding along the way, and I was so intimidated because everybody was like chanting and knew everything. I was like, oh my God, I feel like, I've missed the first 2 billion years of this. And now I'm just taking the test right now. I haven't studied. And so, but when I listened to Pete Briscoe, I was like, dude, I like this. It resonates with me. I feel better when I leave church. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is my guy. And then immediately went, I guess pastors do this. They go on a respite or something. They go on a journey to recharge their batteries, and they go explore their own faith and things like that. And so he went and did that. And he wrote books and stuff. The guy is brilliant. And while he was gone, the backup pastors didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
And I found myself thinking of it like a backup quarterback. I was like, damn, I'm not here for the pastor, but this kind of sucks. Like the backup quarterback. Like
I remember when that was happening because you were doing a lot of sinning.
we're gonna be a lottery team. Like our backup quarterback cannot get us to the promised land. So, anyways, I ended up not, and then he retired sometime after that. Just became a full-time author. But, anyways, that's.
Look, let me say something about your horrible Christian journey. So anyways, don't you like that right now Theory is scrambling to type in Ben and Skin talk Christianity or what? No. So there's 2 ways to really fuck your head up. And that is, 1, to experience Catholicism, which is the cult of misery. And then 2, to experience the church, the Mormon church, the Church of Latter-day Saints. That's just a cult, period. Protestants in the middle, they're easygoing. They'll drink unless they're Baptist. But yeah, dude, going to a Catholic ceremony of any kind, whether it's church, midnight mass, wedding, any of that, when you're not Catholic, is very much someone going, hey, everyone's in the fraternity, but it's, I remember my wife grew up Catholic, and early on when we were going to like midnight mass and stuff, I was like, they don't want me to be a part of this, so I'm going to go out into the lobby. Like, it's clear they're singling me out here. I love the Lord. Why can't I love the Lord?
I just saw somebody's comment. They said Jesus the GM or Jesus the owner should fire Jesus the GM. It's so good.
Dude, no, there is no bigger case of nepotism than Christianity, right? Okay, so but here's the other thing about, we kind of got off track there because you're always forcing your religion on people. The beauty of the Iron Balls productions is we have a lot of cool things planned, and this is just day one of this. We're going to try to do as many After Darks as we can. We'll see how many we can crank out, but I mean, you guys know the flavor of it. You mentioned it, Ben. I had more fun doing the non-compete than any show we've ever done. I loved the non-compete.
I did too. And I think my favorite part was just how liberating it was and how it is. Like, look, radio for, I don't know how to even explain this, but.
Oh, you about to shit on radio?
No, not at all.
Okay, good, very good.
But it's like a football team when you're not the head coach, you don't own the team, and like you're a quarterback, and you may be an option quarterback, but they're not going to let you run the ball. They want you to throw the ball, and so it's all fine. Like, they're all different things. Like, we've been in sports talk where they were like, "Hey, we need you to do 100% sports," and we've been in talk radio where they're like, "We don't care if you do any sports," and it's always that ratio. Some places are 50-50, some places are 70-30, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I love not worrying about that. I love being able to just talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, and do it however we want to, and how we would if we were just hanging out talking. And so that's kind of the vibe of this. Like, we'll talk Mavs because we love Mavs. There's no program director forcing us to talk Mavs right now. And I guess that's my point. And that podcast, the non-compete podcast, that's what that was. It was complete freedom just to do whatever we wanted to do. And man, I was thinking about this today. Like, I love how we connect with listeners. Like, we both truly enjoy that because, being a listener of talk radio before we were on it, if you go to remote and you meet the host and the host is kind of a dick, it kind of ruins it for you. You're like, oh my God, I thought that was like a cool guy. He's a really kind of an asshole, which happens sometimes. And so I always felt like when we left the ticket, because we were at the end of the bench at the ticket and we had to go create our own thing away from that, I always felt like, man, it's cool to connect with people. And if somebody has a 50-50 coin flip, are they going to listen to us or someone else? If they know us and they think we're nice guys, then they'll listen to us. And so that accessibility and connectivity has always been a part of what we've done. But so a lot of hosts don't like that. They don't want to interact with folks. They just want to turn it off when they leave. And that's cool too. But part of the stuff that goes along with that is if you're constantly online interacting with listeners and getting feedback and creating community and really vibing and getting to know people or whatever, that connection, you're going to run into haters. And I found this out and I love this so much. There's certain people that have gone after us for whatever reason. It's crazy when you hear the logic people use when they're being hateful. And most of the time, it's kind of a behavioral pattern that they have. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. It's like people will text in toxic shit to a radio station, go, man, you guys fucking suck. I'll never listen to you again. And you look at their text history and they've been doing it for 10 years. Right. They never left and they're still doing the same thing. But one of the biggest haters that we have out there, this guy is so toxic towards us and it's whatever. Our buddy who runs, like he's a Facebook wizard and a super smart IT guy. He had determined that guy that was out there hating on us had 6 to 8 burner accounts, fake accounts. And he figured out how to link them and he linked them up and figured it out. And so he would shit on us on social media. And then there'd be like 6 or 8 comments echoing those sentiments. And I would stumble across that stuff and go, wow, man, all these people feel the exact same. And it's just so hilarious to find out that one dude had all those burner accounts for that fake ass shit.
It's a lot of energy, man. That is a lot of energy to spend to hate. But, I mean, it's easy for us to say this sort of stuff because we're lucky we have platforms, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that really want to be heard. I get it. I like to have my opinions out there. I mean, you kind of have the whole narcissistic tendency of thinking someone needs to hear what you're saying, right? And you and I have been lucky to have, primarily because of you and you stirring up opportunities for us where we do get those platforms. And, maybe if we didn't have them, maybe we would be a hater bitch in some Facebook group right now. Who knows? But that is always just like a tremendous amount of energy to spend. Like if you're that was the thing about Kevin Durant. I was like, man, how the fuck does that guy have the time and the energy to go argue with people online and do it with burner accounts? What the fuck, man? I think about like if I had Kevin Durant's resources, dog, I would never be online. There would be
Right.
so many amazing things that I would be out there doing besides being in the comment section.
Right.
But dude, it's such a part of modern life. That's how the not the last election, but the election before was won. If you ever want to see a really, really badass documentary about all of that, it's the one that Errol Morris made with Steve Bannon. And they just had this really free-flowing conversation. And Steve Bannon straight up said, man, we won the election in the comment section. We went out there and we stirred it up in the comment section. We unleashed the bots and we did it. And it caused a tide. And it's a really interesting part of, the current life and how many of us are just living it on social media.
Yes.
Isn't that what we're doing right now? I mean, is YouTube social media? What is YouTube? I guess it's a platform.
I think they call it social media, but it's like there are so many people who you see the persona that they have on the internet, like they'll go hard, like they're the most opinionated, toxic, vile, or whatever. They're just strong-willed, opinionated, and then you meet them in person and they can't stop staring at their shoes and they're super shy and they're like, "Oh, shit, you're a totally different person." I guess you have an totally different online persona. That shit is always
It's Oz. It's Oz.
Yeah.
It's the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
By the way, are you able to keep up with all these comments?
No, but hopefully Theory will go through there and highlight any ones that we need to see. And this is badass. Thank y'all so much for commenting.
Yeah, I think there's a guy on there named Manny that said you can totally tell that Ben is cranking Rod right now. And that's been my favorite comment that I've seen so far.
Okay, so in terms of calling this Iron Balls Productions, so we had this when we were
look at that. Some guys that were only 20 minutes in and been and skin referenced a documentary. If I had that on your bingo card, you won.
We should play Ben and Skin bingo. We'll let the listeners come up with what would be on that card. But in terms of Iron Balls, like with our radio career, we just went for it. We're just dudes that like listening to radio, and then we're like, hey man, I think we could do that. And we tried and we went for it.
Iron balls, bro.
And you don't get anywhere in life unless you have, iron balls. Ladies got iron balls too. And the idea is if the life you want is over there, so you got to go get it. It's not going to come knock on your door. And so that's kind of been the spirit of what we've done with our radio show. It's been the spirit of what we've done with Roller Town. And you still run into haters. People are like, hey, fuck you, man. I want you to die. I don't want you to be on the radio. You're like, okay, man, sorry. Or man,
that's online, dude. I swear to God, this is true. I've never had anyone say to my face all that shit that's online ever.
No.
Once. Now, if you want to be the one, step on up, right on, dude. You can break through. But I've seen plenty of bad shit about me online. I've never once had a motherfucker say it to my face. And not because I'm a tough guy. Any of you can kick my ass. It's just because most people don't have the iron balls to talk shit to someone's face. Yeah. They do it online because they're too much of a pussy to do it in the real world. That's the truth.
So iron balls represents just having huge balls, going for it. I think that somebody asked if I named a Cowboys kicker Iron Balls. I think there was some clutch Cowboys kicker that I named Iron Balls, maybe.
Yeah, it was Dan.
Iron Balls Bailey.
Yeah, Iron Balls Bailey. Dan Bailey. Oklahoma State man.
And there was, speaking of Oklahoma State, when Dez caught it, and Dez did catch it, he caught it.
Mm-hmm.
When Dez caught it, that next day we're on the air. We actually were yelling. I was yelling and you were fake yelling and making fun of me, and it was magical.
Great Iron Balls.
Yes. I can't. The path to righteousness is forged by letting your nuts on the table and going for it. You got to have iron balls. And you were like, iron balls.
And of course, that's also from our childhood. With The Jerk, we both love the Steve Martin movie, The Jerk. Iron Balls McGillicuddy.
Yes, Iron Balls
name?
McGillicuddy.
Yes.
So, the idea is, why not? And so, Iron Balls Productions is the name of our LLC, and I love the name, and I'm so glad we're going with that. And we had to go to the bank to create a. We had to go create a bank account for our LLC, and I'll never forget. The first check I wrote to you bounced because it was we
that
put
was badass.
We put a lot.
By the way, now's a good time to tease later in the show. We'll get into the marriage war.
So we put a lot of money in this account to start this business together.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It was the most money. It was the highest amount of a check I've ever written. And KT likes writing checks like every week. I hadn't written a check in like two decades.
Wait, dude, good job. Let's tease the Ben and Skin show on 97.1 The Eagle, where KT made the weird claim he likes to write checks. What?
So I wrote this check and it was for a huge amount so we could just put it in this account and start this business. And the fraud department of my bank declined it. They're like, well, you don't ever write checks. You just wrote a huge check. We're going to decline that. And so it bounced. Our business started with a bounced check. So I had to go into the bank to get a money order. And I hadn't thought about it until I'm talking to this lady and the bank's empty, right? It's just me in there. And anytime I go in a bank, I'm worried that they think I'm going to rob it. And so I got to make them at ease, let them know I'm not going to rob it. It's just in my head. I don't know why.
It is a weird thing that you have in your head. It probably needs to stay there and not be said aloud, but that's okay. You do you. It's fine.
I just have anxiety in there. I'm like, oh no, are they nervous? They're in a bank. I bet they get robbed all the time. I don't like being here. I know there's even a 1% chance they're worried about if every person that comes in is there to rob it. And anyways, so I have to get a money order so the check wouldn't bounce. And so I go in to get a money order and the lady goes, it's dead quiet in there. And I hadn't really thought about it yet. She goes, who do I make this out to? And I go, Iron Balls Productions. And she stopped and she goes, what? And it was like the whole bank stopped. Everybody stared over there and they're like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's an edgy name for some of these people. But to me, it's
perfect.
It's perfect, right?
Yeah. I love it, dude. We were workshopping names and you threw that out there. I was like, yes, immediately. That's it. So if you see an Iron Balls production, it's a Ben and Skin production. And we're going to try and do a bunch of things. We're going to try and have some folks that we think are real talented do their own thing and help them get it out. So we're excited about all that. We're excited about doing After Darks. We may rebrand it, relaunch it with a new name. And then we're excited about doing some other specialty programs. None of it is going to interfere with what we're doing on 97.1 The Eagle. It's going to be different stuff, different programming. And so if you're a fan of what we've done over the years, you're going to get all that shit.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just a different playbook, and we can run any different types of playbooks. And man, I'm so proud of Christina. Christina is #1 in nights in DFW.
That's incredible.
Think about that. She is #1 at night. She's kicking so much ass.
Kind of a no-brainer, though, to have a badass girl that everybody likes that plays in a fucking rock band be on the air and hosting music shows. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. So kind of a no-brainer. And actually, when we first got to the Eagle, and we were doing the Ben and Skin show from 2 to 5, and we did it for a couple of years. They would have her sometimes do some weekend shows and different stuff. So she's done it before. She knows what the hell she's doing.
So I saw a comment where somebody said, miss y'all. And we get that every once in a while. And it just depends on when a person got on board with us and when they got off, when they jumped off. And, I know so our show has been on for a million years. We did weekends and vacation fill in on the ticket, Saturday shows, Mavs post game, that type of thing. We were on Live 105.3. That turned into the Fan. We went to ESPN. We came back to the Fan. We were on the Fan for a long time. And then we came over to the Eagle. Obviously, we tried the Freak, and then they switched it back to the Eagle. So we've been on a bunch of different stations, run a bunch of different playbooks, and there's still people that don't even know that we're on the radio right now. Our show is on from 3 to 6 on 97.1 The Eagle. There's people that say, I miss you, and they mean they never left the fan. Like they kept listening to 105 through the fan, and they didn't go with us. And the radio business is designed to do that. Hosts have to sit out non-competes. It's part of contracts. So the listeners are like, hey, man, some people have a 90-day non-compete. Some hosts have 6-month or a full year non-compete. And so while the host is sitting out, the listener's like, oh, shit, I'll just listen to whatever show replaced them. And then 6 months later, 90 days later, when the host popped back up, a lot of times listeners are like, I'm just going to keep listening to the station. I don't even know really what happened to those guys. And so, man, thank you to those of you who have been with us at any point in this journey, whether you were on early and jumped off or, we're just glad to have you in the mix now. And the point is, if you've ever liked our show, you don't have to miss it. If you don't want to listen to us on the Eagle, that's fine. If you do, that's great too. If you just like certain things that we do, I'm sure you'll be able to find that somewhere, whether it's on the radio station or whether it's on our YouTube channel, because we're going to be cranking out a lot of content. And if you've ever liked our show, you're going to dig this YouTube channel.
Absolutely. We're going to have some fun doing it. So I kind of want to, if you don't mind, Ben, I want to do a little segue right quick, because we are, by the way, what are you going to do when you run out of your drink? Like you've got a mixed drink. So are you going to do you have a mixologist sitting in there?
So he prepared 4 mixed old fashions for me that all I got to do is add the alcohol,
Gotcha.
the cherry, the lemon. And
did you measure it? Like, did you actually just pour it in the shot glass and measure it, or you eyeballing it?
I had to eyeball it. I looked around. He said to put 2 ounces in there, but I didn't see. My wife just uses the 4. She didn't have any of those things.
Okay, that happens. By the way, I have been trying to look at some comments, not enough to keep up with it, but a lot of people are commenting on how nice your studio looks, and then they're shitting on me and saying I got a bad chair. Well, look right there. Dude, I was just talking about that. And then did Ben finally find the perfect chair? See, it's obviously in people's minds here.
Well, I was talking about trying to find the right chair.
You're right.
I was looking around for a long time and I couldn't believe how expensive office chairs were. And somebody sent me, oh, you got to get one of these chairs. And I looked and it was like $3,000. I'm like, I'm not buying it.
What'd you spend on that?
$500.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it? At the used chair store?
I got it I think I got it online, and it was through like an Office Max or something. It's like a lazy boy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, you said it at the beginning, but a buddy of ours that we met, he's a new buddy of ours, but we met him through a longtime listener named Blake. So Blake, we'd known forever because he was buddies with Landry Locker, who we used to have. Landry Locker was the producer of our show on ESPN for a little while, and then he became a big deal in Cleveland and down in Houston. But we've known Blake for a long time, and Blake suggested his homeboy Joshua. And so our home setups that we have right now are really nice because Joshua made them nice.
Yeah.
So shout out to Joshua for hooking us up with these pro mics and pro lighting and all that kind of. Oh my God, that's Joshua who I'm talking about right there. God, man, Jason's good at this shit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really, really good at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can pop comments up there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so let's move back to alcohol because I want to tell you a quick story. When I was at the Total Wine & More, so this shirt, see this?
Yeah.
Right? All my favorite colors, black Pumas.
Yep.
Which, by the way, they made their Dallas radio debut on the Ben and Skin show when we were on The Fan. How weird is that? And then, like, 7 months later, they were on Kimmel and shit. And
didn't we get in trouble for that?
We did. We got called into Spittle, called us into his office and asked us why we would do such thing and whatever. But I was at Total Wine & More checking out, and a sweet lady that was at the cash register, not even the one I was at, named Rochelle. She goes, I like the Black Pumas. And I was like, oh, okay, well, shit, man. It's not like there's some super mainstream band. It's like, well, you've got good taste. So we were just sitting there talking, and she was singing some of their songs just out loud at the register. And then she goes, I was walking out. I go, well, if you like the Black Pumas, you obviously like a bunch of other stuff. She goes, yeah, who's the other singer, the Irish guy? And I go, talking about Hosier? Like, I wasn't even sure. She goes, no, Finnegan. And I was like, what? She was talking about a rare white soul artist on Coal Mine Records out of Ohio named Kelly Finnegan. And I was like, who in the fuck are you? I mean, she was older than me. She was like a hip, older black lady. I was like, where are you finding this underground soul music? Lady, I love
Yeah.
you.
Did you
So I
guys have
wanted,
sex?
oh, you're right there in front of everybody. People
And they're like,
joined
oh,
in.
I didn't realize we were doing this. We've got to
Oh,
stop.
no, I whipped it out. So I want to give a shout out to Rochelle at the Total Wine and More in Plano. And if you ever
Yeah.
want to go talk, soul music with a really hip lady, go to that Total Wine and
No,
More.
she didn't want
Yes.
that. She didn't
No,
need
she
that.
wants that. I
No,
guarantee
she's
she started the conversation.
trying to sell alcohol. You brought up the shirt, and I'm now distracted. So one of the biggest problems with shirts
Mhm.
is neck hole sizes.
Mhm.
I mean, dude, when a shirt like
Are you
sometimes
suggesting mine doesn't have a good neck hole?
yours is good. I noticed mine is out of whack, dude. It got too big.
You're pulling on it. Don't
It
do
sh-
that.
should be about like that, and then sometimes it's like
No.
that, and you're like,
No.
man,
Okay, yeah, I like that.
I don't need to show you my bosoms.
I want to see your titties, dog. Dude, let's see how long we go until your titties pop out. I am on drink number 2 of the
Alright.
Don Roberto. It is a sipping tequila, as I've been told. All right. Oh, dude, man. So are you liking that high rye?
I love it. It's delicious, and my guy Dalton was right. It's really good with the lemon instead of the orange, the lemon peel. And his trick was, he was like, dude, what you do is you rub the lemon obviously on the top of the glass, but you rub it on the sides of the glass too.
Why?
So when you take the glass up to your nose, you smell the lemon, and it enhances the flavor experience of the beverage.
That's cool, man. There's so many cool little tricks and shit like that that I do not know.
Mhm.
I love I do love cocktails and I enjoy all that. I'm not knowledgeable about it at all, and I'm always really fascinated by people that know their shit. You'll remember this. I did have this phase where I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make homemade palomas. And we remember we had those little bin and skin barrels, and I was
Yeah.
aging tequila in those barrels, like they were in my bar sitting there aging. And I waited for 6 months, and then I broke them out, and I was going to do these homemade palomas, and we made them, and they were badass. But it's just so much fucking work. Like it's kind of like I love to eat great food. I'm not a big fan of cooking it.
Right.
I want to be the guy eating the badass food. But it's kind of like you and I are enjoying the show The Bear. And then once you watch season 3, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it on here.
Yeah.
But that whole mentality of getting enjoyment out of preparing, you are so tied up in your fucking neck hole right now. Look at you. You're not going to be able to enjoy the rest of the evening. Have Kat come in there with a safety pin. Dude, that is a good look.
Thanks.
That was a really good
Got
look.
like a priest that just didn't need the white thing right there.
Oh, just like Pete Briscoe before he lost his faith.
Okay, I'm failing you by not catching up on The Bear. I got to watch season 3.
You'll fly through it. The whole thing is like about 5.5 to 6 hours. I loved season 2, and was so excited for season 3, and I got a lot out of the very first episode. And I think for you personally, the way they handled the first episode, and I'm not going to say anything what they're doing, but the way that they handle the first episode, you're going to fucking love it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I got to be honest with you, it's a heavy show. Like, it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was so fucking good in this. And it reminded me of the guy, Ben, the brother of the lady in Ozark, where he had mental problems, and he had the full mental breakdown in the car.
Yeah.
Like, he was always, and dude, her performance reminded me of that. And dude, it was just so strong and so real. But the show is very stressful, but it's very good. But it took me a while to watch the first 2 seasons, and I feel that same apprehension. I know I'm going to love it, but I hate seeing bad things happen to people, and I'm just super worried because they're always walking that tightrope of having everything fall apart,
Yeah.
and you're really rooting for them. And so I'm worried that these people I'm rooting for that are barely getting by and chasing a dream and going for it, that they're going to smash into the wall. So I guess I got to get in the right place to watch it.
Well, this won't help you.
Uh-oh.
I thought the tone of season 2 was lighter than the tone of season 3.
Okay. Oh, wait, it's like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's heavier.
I
Oh shit.
other people may disagree with me. But I felt like the thing that I loved about season 2, and for people who haven't seen it, we won't get into spoilers. I love that they started developing other characters. And then they do that again this season. They take another character that may not be your focus, and then they develop that character out, and it's great. But I guess I would just say the stakes are higher this season, and they've built upon some of those anxieties from there's an overarching theme that you may have already picked up on in previous seasons that I did not pick up on until episode 1 of season 3.
Oh.
And as I was watching it and the way that they did it, the other thing too is the editing on that show is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like there are very few things that are edited as well as that show. It is spectacular. And not the use of music is incredible. There's so many great things they do. But that episode in particular, episode 1 of season 3, has multiple functions. And one of it is, at least to me, it revealed this theme that had always been there in the first 2 seasons that I didn't realize was there. And it just fucking hammered it home.
Why can't you tell me the theme? Why would that spoil anything? It's an overarching thematic situation, and I've already seen 2 seasons, and the theme was already there. So why can't you tell me?
Why don't we do this? Why don't we revisit this conversation after episode 1 of season 3?
Is my neck hole bothering you?
It's fucked up. I wish Jason would take you off the fucking screen. I just want to see my giant, just that we can hear your voice, but not see you in your neck hole. And then just, it can be a me. Oh no, Jason, no. We need more me.
I got to ask you something.
Shoot.
So this ties, I want to get into Mavs talk. And so this ties into it. Like, you have a lot of experience doing television. How long have you been doing TV?
So I started halfway through Rick Carlisle's look at that.
KT.
Hey, dude, get in the fucking show, Tizzle.
Come on, KT, you motherfucker.
Okay, so Theory, send KT a link. And dude, while you're at it, send Christina one. I don't know if she's watching or not, but please send KT and Christina links. And if they want to jump in, pull them in.
That's the last thing Christina wants right now.
She's not watching. She probably won't even get this. I think it's 10:44. I seriously think she goes to bed early. Okay.
Okay, but here's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
About the Mavs.
Yep.
Okay, so, and I see this with you. I see it with all hosts. I see it with Damaris. Whoever, it's every TV show. I see it on the NFL. Who's the guy who does with Troy Aikman?
Joe Buck?
Yeah, Joe Buck. Okay. So it's a double shot. It's let's say that I'm talking to you, you're Troy Aikman. I'm like, Troy, tell me what you think about this matchup. And I ask you the question, and I gotta go.
The gaze. Okay.
Yeah, because
dude,
there's this time where
I
can't just stare at you when I'm asking you a question. I gotta go.
Right.
And I'm like, it fucks with me so much to see people do that. But you pull it off well, and I know a lot of people pull it off well. Damaris does it well, and Joe Buck does it real awkwardly. But what are you supposed to do? And I just could notice myself going, while you were talking, I was like, should I look at the camera? Should I look at my computer? Like, what do I do with my hands?
Okay, so ideally, this is just my opinion. This is not right. This is my opinion. Ideally, if you're not talking, you should put yourself in hopefully the position of the viewer, which is to focus on who's talking. And you have to be aware that you're on camera, but I will look over at Harp, or I'll look over at Followell. And sometimes it's good to like make eye contact and see him and then go, okay, now we're addressing a crowd and we're addressing an audience.
Okay.
And so what I think is I have a responsibility to look at the camera, but hopefully they're looking at Harp while he's talking or looking at Followell while he's talking.
Okay. Would you look at the camera while you're not talking, while one of them's talking and it's a 2-shot or a 3-shot?
Yeah, I'll look at the camera.
Show me how you pull it off. Because it's a moment between the listener and you directly.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're just
okay, but here's where it's critical. It is critical, and you will notice this. It is critical to pay attention to what the person is saying, because you will notice this, especially with sideline reporters. They have a habit of asking a question and immediately nodding at whatever the person is saying, even if they haven't said anything that's worth affirming yet. It's a reflex because they've seen other people do it so much. So like, I'm going to interview you and it would be like, wow, what an incredible fourth quarter, Ben. How did it take you? What mindset did you get in to get so red hot like that?
Right.
Like you haven't even said anything yet. And they're going,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to nod right now and affirm that you are saying things and I'm listening.
Yes.
Like you can tell the second they start nodding for no reason, you can tell they're just waiting to talk again.
All right. I want to switch gears because I want to get to this. I want to talk a little Mavs basketball.
Word.
And man, I think I like the Mavericks more than the Cowboys now.
What do you mean, dude? Fuck the Cowboys. What are you talking
I
about?
mean, I've always, I think, had the Cowboys at the top of the mountain. And like, I'll put it to you like this. If a Mavs playoff game was on TV at the exact same time as a Cowboys playoff game, I would watch, and that would never happen, but I would watch the Maverick game now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this is the first time, I mean, obviously I love Dirk, but I don't know. I think I've always had the Cowboys first. Hell, DFW has the Cowboys first. A Dallas Cowboys game, the ratings on that on television are like a 35. A Maverick game is like a 4 or a 3.
If that.
Right. So like the whole Metroplex feels that way. But I think, or most of the Metroplex does, but I'm saying, I think I've got the Mavs. I love it. I love the Mavericks. I love Luka. I love Kyrie. I can't believe they have Klay Thompson. Did you see that the Mavs got Klay Thompson?
What? Let me say that it's clear that football is the best game. It's the best sport to watch, even though basketball is my favorite sport. But it is much easier to fly through a recorded football game than it is to fly through a recorded basketball game. So to your earlier question, I would always watch the basketball game in real time and then watch the football game, even though I will, as basketball being my number 1, 2, and 3 love, I will admit football is a better game to watch. It's the best payoff of any sport there is. And that's why everyone is so dicks out for Harambe about it. It's just, it's gold.
Did you see how many comments are coming in about my neck hole? One guy said, it's clear that you put that shirt on upside down and the neck hole was around your waist. One guy said they're not even on both sides.
I like the guy that said, can Jason use AI to fix Ben's neck hole?
Look who that is.
Good. It's TN.
TN.
Oh wow, anger towards the neck hole from Daniel in Corsicana.
Okay, so they losing Derek Jones Jr. hurts the Mavericks defense. He was their point of attack defender, and I look at who on their team can guard Shea. Like, not that anybody can stop Shea, but that type of player,
it matters.
If you're playing a point guard or big point guard or 2 guard or somebody like that who's got the ball in their hands, they can attack, they can shoot.
Right.
They don't have that guy anymore. So who guards that person?
So we have to see if Quentin Grimes can be that. And then we have to see if Najee Marshall can be that. But it's kind of the issue with Quentin Grimes is the same issue with Josh Green, just in terms of neither one of those dudes are long. Okay. That was the beauty of Derek Jones Jr. It is insane to me that we saw him have a late game block fighting over a screen on a Steph Curry 3. Like, that's an insane ability to get to a point of release and affect a shot. Now, having said that, that's not the, be all end all. One of the best defenders in the NBA is not long and doesn't affect the point of release, and that's Lou Dort. And so maybe Quentin Grimes can be that. I felt good about the Mavericks offseason. I felt good about Klay Thompson being here. I felt great about it after the press conference. Like, I try not, there's a few press conferences that have stood out to me. The one that is the number one of all time that will always impact me the most is when we traded for Jason Kidd and Dirk was sitting in the back of the room in his sweats. Like, why? That was mid-season. He wanted to come to the Jason Kidd press conference. And the import of that, and it eventually led to a championship and what Jason Kidd means. But that press conference felt amazing. It really did. There was tons of people there, like media, Maverick personnel. I mean, it was a packed room. It was the most people I've ever seen at a basketball press conference locally. And the stuff that Klay Thompson said and the manner in which he answered the questions made me feel really good about him being here, where I was happy he was here, but I had some questions and some thoughts and going, And we talked about this on the show earlier in the week, but I was struck by the idea that it felt similar to a Kyrie situation, different circumstances, but the idea of this exceptional player can truly have a rebirth here and buy into having a rebirth. And I haven't talked to Followell since, but Followell and Coop and some of those guys went in there and watched the Summer League workout. And I saw Followell on Twitter talking about how amazing it is to watch his shooting workout. Yeah. And it's going to have an impact, dude. And if Klay is ready to be completely selfless in the way that Kyrie was completely selfless, then this is going to be so fucking great. And he doesn't have to be completely selfless in order for it to work out in a really great way. But if he does what Kyrie did, then holy shit, man.
Yeah.
This will be incredible, dude.
Yeah. And I love the offseason. I mean, I'm blown away by it. I wish that they'd been able to keep Derrick Jones Jr. I don't know why he switched agents. It felt like they could have had them both. And I don't want to be a hater, but when I watch Najee, how do you say it?
Najee Marshall?
Najee, is it Najee or Najee?
I've been saying Najee.
Najee. When I watch
Najee, look it up while you're riffing. I'll look it up.
When I watch Najee Marshall highlights, and again, I'm not watching it within the context of the game. I know he's a dog, and I know people that love him, and you need that. He seems like the type of guy who's not going to take any shit off anybody. But when I watch his highlights, his defensive highlights, I see him reaching a lot, and I'm like, man, that can also get you in a lot of foul trouble. And I don't have any context. I have not watched him play. I don't even remember seeing him play. I'm sure I've watched him play in a game. But anyways, I love what people say about him. I hate that they'd lost Derrick Jones Jr. And it's not the end of the world, especially if you think about how they added Derrick Jones Jr. like at the last minute, right before the season started.
Last dude they signed.
And so to go get a guy who was your defensive stopper right at the last minute, they didn't know what they had in him, and he just ended up being a perfect fit. So maybe Najee is that, or maybe they can go find somebody else. And my kids ask me this. We love talking Mavs in my house. They keep asking me, hey, can the Mavericks still make a deal, or are they hard capped? And I keep asking you that because I keep hearing different things. And
the Mavericks are currently not hard capped.
Okay, so they're not hard capped. Could they still make a deal of some sort that brings them their best defensive player? For an attack defender.
Yeah, it's possible. I think it's unlikely because Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Green have both been traded. So now you're because it's not just the players, it's the contracts. And so now you're looking at it going, all right, I don't, for one thing, I think from a culture standpoint, it would have to be someone really special for the Mavericks to part ways with Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleba, because in the case of Maxi Kleba, he still has a rotation role. And in the case of Dwight Powell, he's a big part of the culture of the team. And those two guys together are a big part of the culture of the team. I'm not saying they can't be traded or whatever, but it becomes a lot less likely. And then you start going, all right, well, what team out there wants Maxi and Dwight? And are you going to give up 2 first-round picks to sweeten the deal? And then what kind of player did you get back in return? It's just looking at it, trying to look at it realistically. It doesn't seem likely that another deal is out there, but dude, there might be something out there. I think if the Mavericks were willing to part ways with Jaden Hardy, I think he still has value as a sweetener in a deal. So the answer is yes, it's possible. And no, they are not hard capped yet. So possibilities are out there. I do think it's unlikely though.
Right. Do you think this team as it sits right now is one of the 2 best teams in the West? Or right, are they right in the mix right there with the top 4 teams in the West?
I think that the top 4 seeds in the West that were in the regular season, right? I mean, the Clippers are up there. I think the Clippers are probably taking a step back, but I think depending on health and depending on juice, right? Like, are your guys worn down? Denver was clearly worn down when they lost to Minnesota. If it was a well-rested Denver team, that might be a different series. But I think that Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Dallas, and Denver are all jumbled together at the very top. And I think there's minimal difference in between those teams. And I think that's why the Mavericks aggressively go get a guy like Clay, who's won 4 championships and hit really big shots, because that might be the difference in a playoff game against Minnesota. Who does Oklahoma City have on their roster with a tradition of hitting big shots in huge games? We all think Shea will be that guy, which I used to not. I always thought Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was a borderline all-star, really good player.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never thought, in fact, the beginning of last season, not this season we just passed, but the season before, I was sitting there on set of Mavs Live, and I was sitting there talking about, it was Chet Holmgren had just gotten hurt. He wasn't going to play, right? And I was like, if you're the Thunder, do you trade Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in order to tank for Wemby? And Devin goes, what? Why would you trade a really incredible player like that? I go, dude, he's a good player, but he's not special. Like, Wemby's special. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is just really good. He's not a franchise player. Devin's like, he's a franchise player. And I was like, nah, I kind of disagree with you, dude. I mean, we weren't doing this on the air. We were just talking. And then I remember by the time we got to the All-Star break, I was like, dog, you were right.
Yeah.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is fucking amazing.
What he, getting to watch him every game in that playoff series, Mavs couldn't stop him. Dude, that dude was so nasty. He came down and got whatever he wanted whenever he wanted it. He can get to the free throw line. He can get to the bucket. He can hit mid-range. I heard somebody say, he can't shoot threes. He was drilling threes. I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah,
like, that dude is nice.
Bootleg, down the field, slant. You want to move on to something else?
Yeah.
You want to talk about your neck hole again?
Man, I just this is an old shirt, so
no, you just bought it. You don't have to make up lies to impress KT.
So I love Nike Dry Fit. There's so many comments on my neck hole.
It's old. I looked up and a guy said, "Fuck this Mavs talk. Get back to the neck hole."
You can't reshape it. But it's one of my favorite.
Only hope to contain it.
I play basketball in this shirt and I sleep in this shirt. I love it. So these Nike Dry Fit shirts, they change them every year. And so the newest incarnation of this shirt has all this polyester in it. It doesn't move. It's you can't play basketball in it. It's too restrictive.
Have another drink, Ben.
And so I will never stop wearing this shirt. I just may never wear it on camera again because the neck hole is the size of, I don't know. It's pretty massive.
I think that that's a terrible claim. I will never stop wearing this shirt.
I will
don't
never
think
stop wearing this. This is my favorite shirt. I'm giving you guys a look at the goods right now. This is if I want to be buried in this shirt. I hope it's not for a long time. This is my favorite shirt, and I got like 5 of them.
Oh, wait. I thought you were saying one individual shirt. How do you know which one's what? Do they all have terrible neck holes?
Yeah, because maybe that's why they changed the model and added all these polyester. Maybe it's because the neck holes got out of control. I do want to talk about Costner because I love how you've come around on him. You're a big fan of his work. You've suddenly learned about what a great actor he is. I think it was when he got the key to the city of Irving. He really won you over.
I have a Costner take later in the show that might surprise you.
Oh.
He is about as middle of the road as it gets. Like, I'm not anti-Costner. I love Costner. He's a guy that's in some movies. He's trying to think of who is of a similar ilk. He's not like a, what did you just point at? What did you get, a safety pin?
Look how good it is. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Like, I'm going to be serious here. Who do you think is better? Kevin Costner or Billy Bob Thornton?
Oh, okay. Well, they're different things. They play different positions, really. Billy Bob Thornton is the guy you would use if, he's super quirky. He's rarely going to be the lead dog. You can win a Super Bowl with him as your starting quarterback actor. I
have won a Super Bowl with him. I mean, it was called Sling Blade.
Right. But it's kind of a niched type guy. He's not really a hero. He's kind of anti-hero type guy.
Have you not seen Bad Santa? That's a fucking hero, man.
He's probably always going to be a bad guy. He's kind of got a dark cloud around him. He's kind of.
Would you be excited if we were going to have Costner on the show?
What? Are you getting Costner?
No. I'm not interested in having him on. I was just curious. Would you be excited?
I don't know.
Like, I was so excited when we had, there's a good question. Kevin Costner or Gene Hackman. I was so excited. I think Billy Bob Thornton is more of a Gene Hackman. And I think Kevin Costner is more of a Hasselhoff. Like, no, I want to give him more respect than that. I really do.
Look, it's not like I love him. It's the point is,
you went and bought a duster because of him.
I already had that duster. No, he is a leading man, whether you like it or not. He is a
leading man. No, he is a leading man. He is a very, if you need a real waspy white guy, he's right there.
And you're talking about multiple things. You're talking about things that we like or you like, and then you're talking about things that are a good business decision to have him as your leading man. Like
Horizon.
It's two different conversations. Now look, he is a leading man in Yellowstone, and it's one of the most popular shows in the history of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And he got it over the goal line there and was printing Super Bowls and then fucked it up.
Right.
But Horizon is a disaster because his ego's out of control. I'm not a Costner guy who's going to die on Costner Mountain.
Right.
I'm just a guy who's willing to acknowledge that, yeah, man, that's a good leading man. There's not a lot of those guys who are like, for instance, I like Jeff Goldblum way better than I like Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
But dude, there's no way Goldblum could hold down the starting quarterback job of a movie like Costner can.
Dude, have you not seen The Fly? Look at that.
How's the neck hole going sideways? It's
nobody has a Costner pillow. Now let me tell you the other thing that Yellowstone proved. Yellowstone proved that Costner is a good system quarterback.
Okay, how do you mean?
Know what I'm saying?
Western?
Just like it's Taylor Sheridan's offense. And Costner went out there and didn't have any turnovers. He's very much
Okay.
He's Jim Plunkett.
Okay, hold on. I could understand the path you were going to go down if your point is he's a good-looking man and he has the ability with his tan, weathered face to just make a facial expression. And if he's playing some guy that's a badass, you're like, oh my God, I know exactly what that facial expression means. So you might say, as a great thespian, as a studier of great thespians, you might say, oh my God, he's not even having to act that much. But he's not doing Keanu Reeves shit. He's just good at playing the stoic guy.
Do you know, honestly, I'm not joking around here. That what you just described is Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And so I think of that same kind of person, character, whatever. Now, in having said that, and I'm not knocking Clint Eastwood, I don't think Clint Eastwood would have been very good, even at that age, would have been very good in Bull Durham in that role. Like the Kevin Costner of the 80s before, like he made, I mean, I love Bull Durham. That's a great fucking movie. I'm not crazy Field of Dreams guy, but I'm not also anti Field of Dreams guy, but that sort of American white guy earnestness that is needed for that role. He's great at that. Yeah. One movie that I really, really like, I loved it as a kid, but he was very good in No Way Out.
That was so good. That's a Gene Hackman movie.
Yeah, I think of it as a Sean Young movie. She was so good in Blade Runner and in No Way Out, and of course Stripes. And then one of my favorite, well, you know what? There's another one that I love that we'll get to later in the show. By the way, how long have we been doing this? About an hour?
Yeah.
Are people getting bored with this yet?
No, I think you guys, are you enjoying this?
Should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, good. But as much as I like to fuck with Costner, not personally, just like on the show and goof around on Costner, did you see what the Horizon news really was? This is the problem with having KT as our lead newsman.
What was the news?
So they are not putting Horizon 2 in the theaters at the date that they had originally planned.
Oh, but they're not taking it just to streaming?
They're going to wait and see if Horizon 1 can find a better audience when it's streaming to justify, because you mentioned this. Now, I haven't seen it, but you laid this out. You were like, there was so much backstory going on that it was hard to get into that movie. And so I think it's like, all right, can more people latch on to this before we go to the theaters with Horizon 2? That's what the story is. So it may still end up going to the theaters, just it hasn't found its audience yet.
Yeah. I don't
kind of like what's that show with Rob Lowe, Austin 911?
Oh my God, that's so bad. That's so bad. Somebody said Ben needs to make eye contact with us through the camera when Skin's talking.
You're doing is looking at your neck hole.
Dude, it's so distracting.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, Costner is I want to find good examples for Costner.
Wait, hold on. While you find that, I want to point out that I've had 2 drinks and that ice cube is not completely melted yet.
Look at that.
We talk about it being slow melting. Dude. Lux Ice Craft Spheres. We talk about it on 97.1 The Eagle. We live it in our real fucking lives. I love Lux Ice Craft Spheres.
I do too.
I love
them. Badass.
They're badass.
Like I'm cornered into this situation where I'm suddenly the defender of Kevin Costner, which I'm like, I'm not like
you're acting like that happened by accident. All you ever do is talk about Costner while going, hey, let's go drive around Fort Worth and maybe we'll see a road he drove on. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm not like the biggest Costner fan.
That's
just
like me going, I don't really like Tom York. You guys are trying to say I dig Radiohead. I don't know why you're saying that.
No, the thing is,
your Tom York.
The thing is, first of all, Tom York is way too sad.
He is.
He's way too sad.
He really is.
It's like you don't want to watch somebody eat cake while they're crying. That's what Radiohead is.
I would watch Tom York cry and eat cake.
Look how genius he is. The way he attacked the edge of the cake first.
God, the way that those notes rub together in those minor chords.
You're forcing me to defend Kevin Costner.
That's your life.
Because you don't like him because he's wildly popular.
That's
You don't
not
like
true.
him because
No.
so many other people like him. That's the only thing you
No.
have against him.
That's not true. I don't like him because he is exceedingly boring. Like,
No way, dude.
No. There's 5 guys that live on my block that have his personality. He gazes off. He's just
Dude,
a guy that gazes off.
It's so good when he gazes.
No joke
God,
though. We have to pull back the curtain. We have a friend, and he became our friend through the show. His name is Brad North. He's from Plano, and he is a big time Hollywood. I think that term is technically sound designer or
Fluffer.
Yeah, sound fluffer. But he's worked on Stranger Things. He worked on Watchmen on HBO. He's done a lot of high profile stuff, and he's doing the sound on Horizon. And man, he's the kind of guy that will, like, he told us some wild shit about people he's interacted with. He's not phony at all. And he has so many nice things to say about Costner. He loves Costner. And
listen to that guy. He knows him, and you're shitting on him.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm not doing a bit. I'm giving him his flowers, because Brad would not say that if it wasn't true. But now you're off kilt. What happened? Did your neck slide over towards your shoulder?
I don't know what's happening. I got
What is that? Is that
I'm just trying to find things to cover the gap.
Why don't you adjust the shirt? There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Daniel. You need to duct tape that neck hole.
But Costner is a good. Costner is a what?
I like this. Michael said he's a meat gazer.
Dude, the way this is going to be indefensible, but the way Costner gazes out, it's fucking genius, dude. Like, he just looks out into the field and you're like, oh, he's pissed. Oh, look at him. He turned around. He's about to say something. He didn't say it. Oh my God. You know, he wants to say some crazy shit. He's not saying it. He's got that gift, dude.
That is an example. It's example 1, 2, and 3 of you being the most easily impressed person of all time.
No way, dude.
The way that he gazes is genius. Dude, he might just have an empty thought in his head.
It is, dude. You don't even know. You don't even watch Costner movies. You're not even qualified to speak on him because you don't even watch anything. You're so pissed off because you didn't like the ending to Dances with Wolves.
No, I didn't like the beginning, the middle. I thought it all sucked. But should we jump ahead? We can go back and forth. Are we done with Costner, or do you want to stay on Costner?
I mean,
your mom stayed on Costner.
Your mom would love to stay on Costner.
She talks about it all the time.
I'm just saying, every mom would love to hook up with Costner.
Yeah. He's the Gilf Ranger. Okay, so I do want to say this. Well, I tell you what, let's do this. You know what? I'll skip ahead. I'll take this out of this bucket and put it in this bucket. So we're going to talk about movies that hold up. Movies from the past that we've seen recently, or we keep seeing them and we think they hold up. I make fun of it on the show, but KT will tell you I pulled him aside and made him watch scenes from it. The Brian De Palma film, The Untouchables, with Kevin Costner and Sean Connery and young Andy Garcia. That movie fucks. That movie fucks so hard, and Costner is great in it. And I don't know. I'm guessing that movie came out in 1986. I don't know. I'm guessing.
You're talking about a Kevin Costner movie.
The movie The Untouchables.
Yes.
That movie, I think, I'll look it up here in a second. But in 1986, around the time of The Untouchables, around the time of No Way Out, I believe that is before Bull Durham. I think Bull Durham came out after that. I think Field of Dreams came out after that. But No Way Out and The Untouchables, High School Skin, thought Kevin Costner was a fucking badass.
Let's go.
I love The Untouchables, and it's become like The Godfather for me, where every time it's on, I will watch it till the end.
Let's
And
go.
everyone like film nerds will tell you Brian De Palma basically is just copying all his favorite Alfred Hitchcock shots, which, dude, if you're going to copy somebody, copy Hitchcock. Fucking amazing film director. That scene on the staircase
Yeah.
in the bus station is spectacular filmmaking. And part of the reason it's great is because of the wholesomeness and determination that Kevin Costner creates through that character. What he projects through that character is a great performance, and it's needed for that character. And that movie fucks, and Costner is a big part of it.
Yeah, dude, we're talking about him Costnering for 40 years.
That's interesting.
I mean, we're way removed from that. His fastball, he was in his prime right then, and he was electric. How many people are still a leading man 40 years later?
Wait, he is?
Yeah, dude, he just led
Horizon into the gutter.
No, he led the league in quarterbacking on Yellowstone. He deserves to get his flowers for that.
He's just logging minutes.
One of the most popular shows in the history of television, and he was the whole fucking thing. It was him and a bunch of, I don't know who the fuck anybody else is on this cast. That's
in the Untouchables? Oh,
Yellowstone.
I'm sorry, in Yellowstone. And in fairness, I haven't seen it. I just know that you like Beth Dutton.
Oh my God, she's so good.
And I like that there's aren't they putting GPS on coyotes?
Yes. All right, I've got a movie that holds up.
Okay, what do you got?
I don't know if you've seen this. Iron Eagle.
Okay, hold on. Is that one of those movies where Charlie Sheen's flying a jet fighter?
Close. It's not Charlie Sheen. It's kind of a spare guy that he was very popular back in that day.
Is it John? Is it Jean Vaude? Wait, who am I thinking?
No,
of?
dude, it's like a young guy. But the lead mentor in that, Lou fucking Gossett fucking Jr.
Okay, let's go, dude.
Rest in peace.
Go. Yeah.
But if you think
LGJ.
about it, it's a teenager, right? And his dad is a big war hero, and his dad gets trapped in enemy territory, but the government can't go get him because they're like, oh, it's too complicated politically. We can't go save him. And so he's like, fuck that. He goes and teaches himself how to fly an F-35 or something and flies it over because he was good at video games and flies it over there and rescues his dad himself in a jet plane.
And you're saying it's good? Is the guy you're thinking of, is it Jason Gedrick?
Sure. I don't know.
I'm looking, I pulled it up because I remember it existing, but I never saw it. Iron Eagle came out in 1986. It's 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.5 on IMDb. However, it did make 24 million at the box office.
Wait, what are those stats again?
It got 20% on Rotten Tomatoes and 5.5 on IMDb.
Like 5.5 total, like as in
out of 10.
Oh, okay, good. I thought you meant out of 100.
No, that would be amazing. Yeah. Oh, I don't recognize any of these people.
Really? And it's same year as your movie that holds up.
Yeah. Let me see what your Untouchables came out.
Yeah, Jason Gedrick, dude.
That's your guy. Okay. The Untouchables came out in 1987. I'm gonna go to Costner Costner filmography and see if I can.
Jason Gedrick, the guy from the movie I said, was in the Lethal Weapon TV series in 2019. One episode.
That shit was great. That shit was so good. Okay, I'm doing Costner filmography because I do want to know the order here. Because I do think it matters.
Okay.
Wait, Kevin Costner was in Night Shift?
Bet your ass he was.
Do you remember him?
No.
You do know he was, okay, do you know the name of his first movie? It was Malibu Hot Summer.
You want to know what the main character's name was in Iron Eagle, that kid?
What was it?
Doug Masters.
Ah, that's a great name. Dude, have you seen Fandango?
No.
That's a movie. You should check that out. That's a movie from 1985. Costner was in that. He was in Silverado, then American Flyers, 1987, The Untouchables, 1987, No Way Out, 1988, Bull Durham, 1989, Field of Dreams.
Come
God,
on.
what a run he was on.
Why are you shitting all over that guy? That's an incredible run.
Because 1991, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Everything went
That
to
was a
shit
mistake.
after that.
That was a mistake. Even Tony Romo throws interceptions.
Okay, then he bounced back with JFK, and
Yep.
then a movie you love, The Bodyguard.
All right, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a bad movie, dude. I have love for Whitney. I know that sounds cheesy. He was fucking great in that. Where he might have swung and missed, but I still think it's decent, is The Postman.
Okay, I was just looking at that. What is that? He's
So
basically it's Posty
post-apocalyptic world
out.
and
I don't need to see Costner I saw Costner in a post-apocalyptic world. He floated around on water, and it was terrible.
He's consumed with that. Look at home run hitters. When you hit the ball a long way, you're also going to swing and miss a lot.
That's true, dude. And looking at this, they do not list him being in the movie The Big Chill, and I believe that he was the character that committed suicide at the beginning of The Big Chill. He was never actually in the movie. Yeah, dude. Costner played the corpse in The Big Chill. I think the only thing we saw was his wrist, during the funeral. Remember, because he had slashed his wrist and they pulled the thing up. I think that's Costner's wrist.
He didn't get any love for that.
But he's not listed on his filmography.
Look at that. Jonathan Campia. Sorry about the mispronunciation there.
Guy, you just shit all over that guy.
10 Cup. 10 Cup's a great movie.
I've never seen 10 Cup. I know you're a big golf guy. I have not seen 10 Cup.
And dude,
KT says it's awesome and it's got Cheech in it, right?
Let me tell you something right to your face. Dances with Wolves is a good ass movie.
Cool. I think that
you'd like it if it was in black and white and in French.
I'd like it if they actually spoke with an indigenous tongue. No, I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I want to give it another run. Remember when Meat named that cat Dances with Cervezas because it was on the table dancing around beer bottles?
Man, you fell out of love with Costner at one point.
I'm gonna get back. I gotta.
It's because when he did Robin Hood, you were like, I'm out. You're like, I don't care about any of the work you've done prior. You're dead to me because you were Robin Hood.
He went on a bad run around the time that I was kind of done with Hollywood movies in general. Like I had about a 4 or 5 year period where I was like, man, I'm not going to watch all these fucking sequels and all this same shit over and over again. I got to go listen to some rap music, bro. And so that's probably around the time when I disengaged with the Costner.
Yeah.
But I'm down with Untouchables. I think it's an incredible movie, The Untouchables.
Yeah.
Now, what else do you have on your list of movies that hold up?
You're not going to like this.
I loved Iron Eagle.
This one is also has to do with jet planes.
What is wrong with you, man?
Top Gun, bro.
I'm so tired.
It's Maverick and Goose and
it's just so it's just not good, dude. It's not good.
Listen, if you just if you think about
what,
you got over here, you got Maverick, and then over here you got Iceman, and they both can't be the #1 alpha. So it's like a battle of who's who, and then Goose dies, and now Maverick's like, bro, what do I even want to do with my life? I got Kelly McGillis. She didn't even know how to drive this convertible. I might just bounce. I'm lost. I can't engage in fighting. And then he just starts killing all the MiGs, bro, because he's fucking badass.
Honest question. What's a better movie? Top Gun or An Officer and a Gentleman?
Oh, okay. I mean, they're two totally different things. One is a box office, just fucking mega movie. And the other one is kind of sad movie about,
I didn't think Top Gun was sad. I mean, when Goose died, I was like, oh no, the guy from Revenge of the Nerds is dead. I didn't
the guy
think it was-
from Gotcha. The guy from Gotcha.
Gotcha, dude, is legit.
He's so good in that.
All right, let's do this.
Yep.
Let's go, because I think Officer and a Gentleman was a bigger hit than you think it was.
Okay. Richard Gere was obviously in it. What's her name from I'm Hard or whatever? She was the
Deborah
Urban
Winger.
Cowboy. Yeah, Urban Cowboy.
Wasn't Meg Ryan in that?
And Lou fucking Gossett Jr.
Don't you
Gossett.
eyeball me, boy.
The acting in
badass.
that was far superior, but it wasn't a box office mega bomb.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so Louis Gossett Jr. actually did win Best Supporting Actor for that role, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that.
God, dude, Richard Gere was great in that.
I would say the whole. So here's you got Deborah Winger, Richard Gere, Louis Gossett Jr., David Keith, Robert Loggia, David Caruso. Maybe I was wrong on Meg Ryan. I thought Meg Ryan was David Keith's love interest. Was she not?
She was in Top Gun, bro.
Oh, she was. Okay. So again, I'm glad I'm comparing these movies. Okay. So now you just need, I don't think you remember this because you're really old and your memory's terrible. Officer and Gentleman came out in 1982.
Wow.
Okay. It made 190 million at the box office.
Okay.
It was a huge hit. And
how much did Top Gun make?
Top Gun. Let's see. Hold on. I want to confirm. Okay. It made 190 million in 1982 is a lot of money. Top Gun. It came out probably in what, 1987? What year do we think Top Gun came out?
I thought it was like 85 or 86.
Okay, Top Gun came out in 1986 and it made 357 million.
Dude, Top Gun Maverick made 400 million.
Wow. Yeah, Top Gun was a huge hit, but I'm saying Officer and a Gentleman was a huge hit too.
Okay.
190 million in 1982. Yeah. And part of it was they had a huge hit song in it.
Is it Meet Me Halfway?
It's Joe Cocker and she's written a million songs.
It's not Meet Me Halfway across the sky.
No, I think that's Iron Eagle. Officer and a Gentleman's Love will lift us up where we belong. Where the eagles fly on a Jennifer Warren. I think that's her name.
Okay.
Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warren.
Did you ever see the movie Rad?
No, I've heard you talk about it. I'm probably going to watch it this weekend after I rewatch Dances with Wolves. It's pretty good, right?
Rad is a fascinating movie. My guy, RT Muir, told me about it. Remember?
Yeah.
And you were questioning how he spelled his name?
Yeah, he was a guy named after the forest and all the redwoods.
His name is, last name is Muir. And you always got a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And so I missed Rad back in the day, but when we were growing up, BMX bikes were the shit, you know?
Fuck yeah, dog.
You owned a Mongoose or a Red Line or something like that. And somebody had a PK Ripper.
Yeah, if you want to pull some hot pee, man, get you a Mongoose and throw down. I mean,
because what we're talking 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, right? Something like that.
I think that sounds about right.
I can't remember. We kept driving.
If you want to hear something super rad? Ironically, as you talk about the movie, so I lived on a cul-de-sac, and right behind me was a street that had some houses facing Buckingham, but it wasn't fully developed out. So the corner lot at the end of my alley was an empty lot. A house hadn't been built, and they built a BMX bike trail on it.
Yeah,
I say someone just did right there on the lot. That was at the end of my block, dude.
Yeah. Everybody would do stuff like that. And then you'd find out about a track somewhere. Our buddy KB was like a ranked racer. Like he was like him and Larry Dunkel. They were like ranked in BMX racers or whatever. Anyways, this movie Rad.
Who ranked these
guys?
They
were like they competed and shit and raced. Okay. But this movie Rad is so bad. It's good.
Okay.
It's like right in the heyday of BMX bike, riding and stuff. And it's like,
is it better than Gymkhana?
I'll just tell you, there's a moment where the guy, the hero of the movie, who's so good on his BMX bike, he dances with a girl while he's on the bike.
that sounds like Hot Rod, dude.
Bro, it's exactly like Hot Rod. There has to be some influence in Hot Rod from this movie. It's the best terrible movie ever.
Okay, I've heard you talk about it. Maybe we do a screening of that if Alamo gets back and going. I like the folks at Texas Theater. When's the last time you saw Over the Top?
Oh my God. This is a fascinating movie. Like, they just made a movie about a guy that arm wrestles.
He's a guy that needs to reconnect with his son. He's a truck driver that needs to reconnect with his son that arm wrestles. Don't sell the movie short.
I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, there's nothing there for a movie. He drives a truck and he arm wrestles. Let's get Sylvester Stallone and make it into a giant movie.
Okay, let's look up and see how much money Over the Top made. Let's do it. I'll do the over under. So I think it came out in 1987. I'm not sure. We'll confirm that. I'm setting the over under on the box office. Oh, it came out in 1987. Okay. I'm setting the over under for the box office at 43.5 million in 1987. Right. You want to do the over?
The under? The under. I think it was a huge bomb.
Okay, I'll take the over just because. Over the Top, which got 5.8 stars on IMDb. Oh, shit. It had 16 million at the box office, Ben. It did not crush.
What was the worst Stallone movie, though? It was Cobra, right?
Cobra was the best, dude.
It was like he always had a toothpick or a match in his mouth, and he's there's the big
Nighthawk was dope.
And a great TV dinner.
Yeah.
But in Cobra, there's the terrible scene where it's like he kills a guy at a grocery store. It's like, clean up on aisle 5.
Right. Nighthawk was dope because it had legendary Euro bad guy Rutger Hauer.
Yes. I was thinking about him the other day because I watched The Firm, the Tom Cruise movie. And fucking Wilford Brimley is the bad guy in that. And Wilford Brimley was doing he had already done Cocoon, and oatmeal commercials, and it was like, this is like a peaceful grandpa. He's your main bad guy, but he had a Rutger Hauer sidekick, and this guy's running, chasing Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise is going up like a ski lift, and he's running, and his mullet's flowing. And I thought they were trying to recreate Rutger Hauer magic, but it actually was the guy from the Saw.
I never saw the Saw. Yeah, I never saw.
He's the bad guy from that. But I think there was this idea for a while in Hollywood of the scary foreign guy with a blonde mullet. Because if you look at Die Hard, it had that. The bad guy in Die Hard. They had that vibe too. And
you can't trust Euros.
Yeah, it's the Euro. You can't, and there was always a bad guy Euro with a flowing mullet and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, which, by the way, talk about an obscure thing. Bob Odenkirk used to do a really funny Wilford Brimley on Mr. Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was Wilford Brimley from those commercials, whatever those cereal commercials. And he would start looking out his window and get real upset at the kids that were outside in the commercial.
Dude, this guy was doing commercials for diabetes. He did a movie about living in a senior citizen retirement community, losing their fastballs, and oh my God, these alien cocoons have rejuvenated us. This guy was so far over the hill. He was pushing oatmeal. They made him the lead bad guy in a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in a Gene Hackman movie.
Yeah, Gene. Yeah, exactly. And a Grisham classic. I like Grisham because every single movie he made was about an idealistic young lawyer that had a moral decision he had to wrestle with.
Yeah. And dude, I got to say this about The Firm.
Yeah.
Too much blues music.
You saw it recently. I haven't seen it in forever.
Too much, dude. It's just over the top. It's like piano blues. It's like, what are we doing here, man? It's like somebody fell in love with blues music and forced it on that movie.
Who directed The Firm? Do you know?
I can't remember. He was a big deal. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I mean, that's a That's a pretty hot property if you're going to have Hackman and Wilford Brimley and Tom Cruise. That was Sidney Pollack.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Made
he
good dough, man. 270.
and he loved the guy from the soundtrack. God, what's
Was
the
it
guy's
David
name?
Sanborn?
I think you said it on the show. You got it right.
You were talking about. I thought we were talking about David Sanborn, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the Rutger Hauer villain in Blade Runner is one of the most unique, strangely empathetic villains of all time. That ends up being like a Christ-like figure at the end of Blade Runner. It's really, God, I love Blade Runner.
That's a movie that holds up.
Oh my God, it's so good. Do you know the story on that? About, in fact, it happened in Dallas. So Blade Runner, it's Philip K. Dick is the original source. The guy, his stuff is like Minority Report. Philip K. Dick was way ahead of his time. His novels were very much about AI and, humans losing their humanity, right? That's like the core of his sci-fi. And so the novel is called Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep? And so it was being converted into a property in Hollywood, and they wanted to do a film noir movie, like a, gumshoe detective, it's like film noir, but it's in the future. And so one of the staples of all those movies is narration. Like the villain, it was a rainy night when the dame walked into my office. That's the whole thing, right? So they did the movie, and Harrison Ford liked it, but they did it without narration. And then they screened it at the North Park Cinemas in Dallas in 1981. And then they do the test audience, and nobody in the audience understood the movie.
Wow.
They're like, what the fuck? This sucks. Where's Han Solo? And so they brought Harrison Ford back and had him do a narration, and he didn't want to do it. He thought it was going to ruin the movie. He did the narration over it so that they could spoon feed it to the audience, and the movie flopped. Then about 11 or 12 years later, maybe 13 years later, when DVDs became a thing, they re-released the director's cut without the narration, and it became a cult classic because the movie was experienced the way it was supposed to be fucking experienced. And it is still just stunning visually, and all that stuff that came after it, Matrix and all this stuff, Cyberpunk, all that, the Blade Runner visuals are the blueprint from 1981.
Wow.
But if you see the director's cut, it's just so fucking great, dude.
Man, I saw somebody, it's escaping me. I can't remember what movie it was, but I love stuff like that. Stories about movies, especially if they're movies that I really dug back in the day. Like it was some audiences didn't like the end of a movie, and so they brought everyone back in and reshot the end of a movie. And I saw an actor talking about it.
Yes.
He had already moved on to a different movie where he had a shaved head.
It was Pretty in Pink.
Was that it?
Yes.
Yes, it was Pretty in Pink, right? Yes. That's
Andrew
right.
McCarthy. Yeah.
Yes, it's from that documentary, right?
Yeah, he was talking about that, and I had never noticed it before, and then they showed a scene from it. I was like, oh my God, that wig is horrible. I'd never even noticed how bad it was.
And I remember thinking his hair was bad, and I was like, is it just me or is his hair bad? Anyways, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm fucking loving this. I have a question for the people that are tuned in and watching this. If we're to do this more often, and we're to do an After Dark, something like this, what's the most ideal time for this to air? What time would be best for this to air? Love to get your thoughts in the comments.
I like that too. So do we have the ability? I don't know how this shit works. Do we have the ability to go through and like riff through all these fucking comments, or not riff, but like rifle through them and see what everybody said? Does that stay there? Because I know I totally sound like the old man trying to post videos to Facebook, but I know that this thing will live on our YouTube channel and you can go back and watch it. Can you go back and watch the comments with it? Is Jason still there?
Yeah, he's
Jason,
there.
where the fuck are you?
Yeah, it'll live on the archive as well. And I'm starring some stuff. This is our inaugural flight. There's a lot of stuff. We're looking at a lot of 9, 8 p.m.s here.
I will not do 8 p.m.
It's got to be later than that.
Yeah, it's got to be later. 9 p.m. is money. 10.
Yeah.
I like 10, but I understand if people want to get it going earlier.
Yeah.
I don't have to be at work until 2.
Also, because that would allow us to if it ever goes 2 hours to go from 9 to 11 and not go all the way to midnight.
Right. This one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11.
Yeah,
I think.
Manny, the guy who said you were cranking rod earlier, he said 9 to 11, maybe 12 sometimes. Ooh, I like this one, 6A to 6P. Let's get up. Let's get up at 4 a.m. and pre-record our radio show and then just do this 6 a.m. to 6P.
What about this in the comments? What guests would you like us to have on?
Ooh, I like that. Costner. He needs money, dude.
Yeah, dude, I bet we could get Costner.
I've had him.
All right, dude. I think this was a successful relaunch of After Dark.
I enjoyed it. I hope everyone had fun. If you didn't have fun, send your feedback via email to kevin.turner@iheartmedia.com and send dick pics.
Those the rabbit holes of talking about movies, that's probably my favorite thing to do.
It's amazing.
Absolute favorite thing to do. I love that shit. I didn't spend a lot of time on my movies that still hold up. That's why my list was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to figure out sometime next time we come back, figure some sort of a theme, and I'll put in some work on it or whatever.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I will.
Dude, you know what I would like to do next time we do this too? I'll probably have a bunch of fucking Switzerland shit to talk about.
Okay, yes.
I'm leaving for Switzerland in like 18 hours, dude.
Yeah, KT outed you, dude. He put your business out on the streets.
Yeah, I was just joking. I mean, I figured people would know I was on vacation when I wasn't on air every day, but it's fun to just like pin shit on KT.
Yeah.
And act like you're upset with him when you're not.
So if you want to listen to our radio show, we're on 97.1 The Eagle from 3 to 6. You can listen live if you want to, or you can listen to the podcast on the iHeart app, and you can get it there. And then we'll be launching a bunch of YouTube content. So go ahead and subscribe to the Ben and Skin YouTube channel, and
smash that like button.
Yeah, we're about to start.
Are there like buttons on YouTube?
Jason, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, you want to like the content and subscribe to the channel.
Interesting.
Get it.
Jason, thank you for doing this, bro.
Thank you for doing this, bro.
You changed hats.
Did I?
What hat is that? You were wearing a crazy Star Wars hat when we started.
That's our homie Brock's disc golf place in Pittsburgh.
Sassy Wendy?
That's Sassy Wendy's joint.
That's Paola Plugola, dude.
I love Sassy Wendy. That's a classy motherfucker.
Yes.
Brock is the dude.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go fix this neck hole. I love you guys. Enjoyed this very much. I can't wait to do it again. Skin, when you get back from where are you going? Amsterdam, Switzerland. When you get back from Switzerland, when you get back from your skiing trip, we'll plan a sequencing, a cadence for this thing. And maybe we'll start it at 9 o'clock. And we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing some sports as well. But the sports is not going to be, describe that, because it's not going to be, we're trying to do more evergreen, bigger picture sports stuff.
Yeah, I think, we don't want to be guys breaking sports news and hot taking the sports stories of the day, but we do kind of like what we just did with the Mavs stuff earlier. We like talking about big picture stuff. So we'll probably do a weekly sports show. Maybe we'll do a weekly pop culture show, and maybe we'll sprinkle in a couple of these after darks. And hopefully you like all of it, and then you want to stick it in a jar of mayonnaise.
Yeah. Fantastic. And don't ever forget what KT once said to a group of school children.
They change things pretty quick on us in this world, so enjoy your every minute while you have it. Christina K. Ray, Common Law, Cornbread, Not Cornbread Ray is next.
Peace.
I want to go away.